evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody out there. Streaming live right now. We'll see if anybody comes on again. Otherwise, I'll just record it and let it upload. So last week I was reading from How to Get Out of Babylon and where should we then live? Where should we live? What area should we be living in? I started addressing that. And in the course of that, I talked about the quote unquote, air quote, mystery map. Okay. And that's one of the things on the map, the largest area depicted on the map of the United States is a large triangle from the very tippy top, farthest east, farthest north corner point of Minnesota down to, looks like the panhandle of Florida on the coast, over to about Dallas, Fort Worth. I haven't been able to figure out exactly where. It doesn't make any difference, but I saw something last week and I didn't go into it in detail. So that's what I want to do now tonight. And then I'm going to do, I'll also do like I did last week. I'll do a live stream. If anybody gets on, that's great. But I'm also going to do a backup with, maps and whatnot from the tablet here. I'll show you, I'll hold it up just so you see some of them, but so if you pull up a map of the continental United States, it would look something like that. And then look at the very top corner of Minnesota. Got a pin here. If I can see what I'm doing on the map. If it's still there. Okay. So from that blue tip of Minnesota, where the hell is it? Oh, I know this is stupid. Right there, that tip of Minnesota, down to Florida. Is that right? Down here to Florida. And over to Texas, mid-Texas. Big triangle there. That's what I'm talking about. So what I saw last week, I'll describe it verbally. If you draw a line, and I did this, I took a straight edge there, from that tip of Minnesota down to Florida on the seacoast, about where Florida hits Georgia, is right about where it was. Georgia, Florida, ocean border right there. Put a line there, and it goes right through eastern Tennessee. So eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina are outside of that, what this man called the Golden Triangle, or the temple. He called it a temple, other things. I'm going to pull that up here and I'll read it to you. I'm going to read some things from the map here because I didn't get into all those last week. So, and I showed you the map. I'll put a better one there. It's got a red triangle, a blue cloud. He called it the Mercy Cloud. And then inside the Mercy Cloud, and it's not highlighted, you can barely see won't be able to see it on there, but a black diamond. You'll be able to see it when I do the video later. It won't be up tonight. It'll be tomorrow sometime, but okay. I'm just going to hold this up real quick and you can get the idea, I think. Don't drop it. Red triangle, blue circle. The blue circle is basically the Ozark Plateau. Inside that blue circle is a diamond, oddly enough. And I made it a diamond. Yeah, I can see it. There's a dot in the middle of the diamond. It's kind of toward the bottom, toward the right of the thing, the blue circle, the blue oval, whatever, the blue cloud. Okay, so I want to talk about this map again. I have 3 videos on it. You can look them up. I'll put the link for them in the description here. So look for that. But what I want to say is, hi Jim, Gad, how you doing? Hello. Hope you're doing well, Jim. How's Evelyn doing? Your daughter. God bless, guys. Thank you. So the thing is that red line goes right through eastern Tennessee. So eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina are outside of that golden triangle. And when I read this last week, I'm going to reread it because This man, now whoever this man was, and I'm pretty sure I talked to him twice on the phone. His name was, he didn't say his name, I don't remember his name, but I had called the phone number for the Christian Patriot Civil Defense Association, the Christian Patriot CD Civil Defense, CDA, CPCDA, Christian Patriot Civil Defense Association, okay? This was about 1993. I talked to him 2 or 3 times on the phone, and I know twice, and both times he said, move now, get it done. He said, get out of there, get out of the big cities, and get into this safe area. So I'm going to read this here. He calls it Big Triangle, Temple or Land of Goshen. Some people call it like Golden Triangle. This appears to be the area to be less hit by Yah's judgment. And the initial gathering region, the first stage of gathering will be, that was a period, the first stage of gathering will be in small groups wherever you are now. So wherever you're in the country, you're going to have small groups getting together. You know, you're going to meet people, your mutual assistant group, bug out group, whatever you want to call it, prepper group, crazies, nutcases, black sheep. This area will be the second stage of the gathering, and many will be driven here. Okay. I think in other words it said led or driven, but I would say led or driven. So you may be driven here within that triangle. Then the second one, I can't read all this one, what it says here, but second, the cloud area, the blue circle, oval area there, the Ozark Plateau basically. Those fleeing the mark of the beast will, whatever it be, whether it be a chip or something else, will be led inside that blue area, that blue region. And then the cities of refuge, the diamond shaped area, you could call it a remnant refugee camp. And I can't even read it. It's just, there's one, whatever is below the line I could read is gone. So I had this map in an email in a PDF file. Some old lady sent it to Ken Updegrove with Arkhaven, and he didn't know. When I called him one day, he didn't even remember because I was trying to find the original copy of it on my email, and he finally found he did not remember it at all. I'm 70 years old, so I have a bad memory. He's got a way worse memory than me because he's like 80 some years old. So if he's still around. So anyway, he finally found it and sent it to me. I had another copy of it, but I haven't been able to find it recently. Now I want to connect this to another fact that there's a document, and it's a thing that I can send you a link for. If you have an email, I can send it to. I'll try to find a link for it online. Some of it is in Ken Updegrove's Arkhaven website. I think some of it is still there. Anyway, this map is on there without all the notes and the triangle and all the other stuff. It doesn't have any of the notes at all, just the map. And the map was, it says in this document that I'm going to tell you about, it's called, you can find it, read it, get it. It's about 18 pages. It's an 18-page document. It was printed up about, I'm guessing like 1960, 70. You can tell by the print and everything on here. It looks like it was on a copy from a mimeograph paper. So it's kind of fuzzy. It's not good writing at all. I can't even read some of the stuff on here. But the point is this, that if you have any questions, ask. But my point is that it was a map done by somebody. Okay. The writing on here tells me this is somebody with a lot of wisdom or a lot of foresight, a prophet. You know, Amos 3:7, it says, "Surely Yahuwah Elohim will not do anything without telling his prophets." Okay. And it also says, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. I'm not claiming to be a prophet at all, but this guy had something going on in the way of foresight, insight, or whatever. I talked about before about the different maps, future maps of the United States of America. One of them being the U.S. Navy map, quote, air quote, U.S. Navy map that John Moore made popular. Everybody talks about that one. And the fact that was allegedly done with the help or based on Edgar Casey's vision of the future of the United States. So, and it's corroborated by other maps. Running Deer, Lori Toy, Gordon Michael Scallion, Chet Snow. They're all a little bit different, but a lot of them have a very wide Mississippi River Valley from the Great Lakes down to the, a couple hundred miles wide down to the Gulf of Mexico. Big chunks of the West Coast gone, big chunks of Texas gone, East Coast gone, a lot of the East Coast gone. So I would not, make light of any of that, because what I'm seeing here is that this guy talks about this triangle, and here you have, it runs right through eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina. Not good. Now, from the outset, when I first started talking about Helene, I made the statement. I said, this is not going to be the worst. When I first heard about it from a friend, he told me about it. And he said, this is the worst hurricane, the worst storm in the history of the world, the history of the United States. And I said, well, it's not going to be the worst. He said, yeah, it will be. I said, no, it won't. So I don't believe it will. I think we'll see a lot of worse things, whether it be storms or something, like the West Coast is getting hammered right now. We're not going to hear about that probably. They said when they say the word atmospheric river, there are rivers in the atmosphere that are the size of the Amazon and the Mississippi, okay? And if they park and dump water, you're getting to get hammered. And that's what happened in North Carolina. They basically stopped that river, brought a river up from, it wasn't really an atmospheric river, but the West Coast right now, Washington, Northern California, is getting hammered by an atmospheric river. They're talking like 5 feet of snow, I don't know, 40 inches of rain, whatever. It's not going to be pretty if it does park there, because it'll dump a lot of water. One guy calculated that what happened in Carolina and Tennessee was the equivalent of all the water that goes over Niagara Falls for 2 full years, 24 hours a day. That's what fell within the space of a few days there. That's the water that was involved there. Didn't all fall, because I think they popped 2 or 3 dams open. So one of them, the dam's going to go. They gave some warning about one of them, Lake Lure, 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 that some people locals pronounce it differently, but it looks like Lake Lure. So that was an interesting thing. But there were 2 or 3 dams involved that either broke or they accidentally, the dam gave way or something. So see a 30-foot wall of mud coming at you, you're not going to live very long. And that's what happened there. There's still a lot of videos coming out about people that are living there. They're doing videos. And one guy, Real Estate Mindset, they're doing a lot of videos and a lot of touring and a lot of really good, solid interviews with people there, with the SAR team, search and rescue team, cadaver dog team. A lot of good stuff going on there. They're still helping people. I'll say again, TJ of Grindstone Ministry says that they are involved with a long-term, protracted, asymmetric war with the federal government. Now, how that's going to play out, I don't know. I'm not even going to make a, read on that, just because you don't know how it's going to play. He's of the mindset that there's a lot more AR-15s in this country than there are feds. Well, yeah. But one F-16, a friend of mine told me he was an ex-Special Forces, Air Force Commando Special Force. This is like you take the SEALs, which people know about SEALs and what they do with, the people that have been on there, Chris Kyle, and the worldwide WWE guy, whatever his name is. He went to Vietnam, wanted to go back because he said, here, I'm a kid. I can't drink and I can't vote. I want to go back to Vietnam, Anyway, so my point is that rewind. Let me get a drink. Okay. I'm tired. Bear with me. The fuzz will go away in a minute. So you have all these people, Special Forces guys. So I knew this one guy. and he was an Air Force commander. And he said they were trained the same as SEALs, same as Green Berets. They had more training because they were trained to go in anywhere in the world where they have secret air bases, parachute in from high altitude, low opening, go down, pacify, kill everybody, pacify an area, push a button and have a runway come up out of the ground. The United States runway that nobody knows it's there because you can't even see it. Kind of like your hidden missile silos and whatnot. But that guy was amazing. But he told me a couple of things. He told me was pretty weird. He said he's down in South America and they're running around killing people at random. And one day they were given the order to that they weren't allowed to do that anymore. And that's when it hit him. He said, "We've been randomly assassinating people at will, just for kicks, picking up their own targets." And he said, that's wrong. And that's when he decided to get out of the Air Force and leave that all behind. So obviously I'm not going to say anything more about him, but he was a very instructive character, I'll tell you. He said, when they say pacify an area, that means go in and kill every man, woman, child, parakeet, dog, cat, 1-year-old baby sucking on the breast, kill everybody. That's what they do. And that was a pretty scary thing, So when you hear somebody say something like that, you better take heed. And I've heard recently, too, Navy SEALs, 6 Navy SEALs could come up here and deal with somebody. And I said, why didn't you have your dad do that? She said, because they kill everybody, every baby, every uncle, aunt, uncle, and sister, brother. Or they kill the entire family. I don't know. Okay, that's a cool idea not to do it. Anyway, that's just, I'm not just kind of talking. That's the way they're trained. Pacify means kill everything. So when they're going to pacify an area, whether it be a FEMA camp or a military around a military base, they're going to pacify the entire area about 20, 30 miles, 40 miles out around the base. Torch it all. So, okay, so I wanted to talk about that, the cities of refuge area. Now, I also mentioned a guy that had been having dreams like every single night. This went on for weeks, maybe months on end. Every night he would have these intense, sheet soaked sweats dreams, every night of very intense of an area in Arkansas, like the city of refuge area, you couldn't get an M1 tank into, very highly, very, very much defended. And that, he thought he was going to see that place when we went down there for a meeting, the gathering with Ken Updegrove in 2009 it was, yeah. Anyway, ever since that time, that first meeting, I felt like someday I was going to have to go travel out and, help those people on those farms, and it's never happened. I wish it would, but I'm kind of beyond that capability now. But anyway, be praying for me. It's just a weird time in my life. And I believe things are going to happen. I'm thinking fairly soon. So I want to get back to the thing about this Western North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee being outside this circle. So before God, the Most High, does things, he lets people know. He gives us warnings. And I also recommend that you watch Jamie Walden interview with Dave Hodges. And that's a 1 hour. Watch that video. I'll link it in this description down here or in the comments. I did it in the other ones too. So watch that video. I highly recommend that. But this is not going to be the worst thing that happens here. This hurricane here. West Coast is getting hammered now. I don't know what's going to happen. There's not many people out there, so not as big a deal. It's pretty heavily populated. East Coast, West Coast, very highly populated. I want to point out, get away from the coast, get away from the cities. This comes out over and over again. Get away from the cities, get out of the cities. If you're in the city still, get out of there. Get 10 miles out, 20 miles out, 50 miles out. Don't be in a city, because when things break down, you're in a death trap. Every one of those high altitude, not high altitude, but the mouse traps and the elevated exit on ramps and on off ramps, exit ramps and entry ramps, those are all can be dropped really easily. Boom, boom, boom. You drop the top one, they all go down. So I would not be in a city. I felt like I was in a wounded animal in a cage when I lived in Denver. I did not like it. I didn't like it, Sam. I didn't like it. I didn't like green eggs and ham. Yeah. So anyway, okay, so there's going to be worse things happening, and it's going to happen. I think we're going to start seeing things ramping up a little bit here, faster and worse. So There's a movie out right now, Civil War. Bitch gets a videographer, photographer's wet dream, but there's a movie about that. There was a movie that they never did get out, Blue State. Yeah. Deep State, Blue State, I think it was. Anyway, they killed the director of that one before. Weren't able to get it out because there was too much truth in it, I guess. So, all right. So let me get back on here. Let me show you I saw it a minute ago. The map that I made back in 2011 or so, circular map, taking in basically the river basins of the Ozark Plateau. And that came about because in Denver, we lived in Denver. I had I could pick up the phone and dial 300 people from the top of my head. I memorized 300 phone numbers. And now I have a smartphone. Now I can't remember any phone numbers. But so, I had that map up. I just saw it a second ago. Don't know where it's at. Anyway, you can see it on arkhaven.org. But you put a dot in Springfield, about 120 miles out, it kind of takes in the river valleys of the Mississippi, the Missouri, the Mar de Chene and the Brown and Grand River out to the west, and then the Arkansas River going through Arkansas and into Oklahoma. So that kind of delineates that. But I knew I had about 300 people I knew, and so when we left Denver, we just left. We didn't tell anybody we were leaving. We packed up and left because it was a mad rush. Denver, you don't call 30 people and say, "Hey, we're leaving. I'm moving. We're not going to ever come back unless we have to for a wedding or something." But we just bucked out. Boom. Well, before that happened, about every single time I called somebody, about every once a week, I call somebody and say, "That number's been disconnected, no longer served." Now, I'd known that for like 7 to 10 years, and suddenly disconnected, no longer in service. And so what happened was, I started putting when I moved to Kansas, I started hearing about D and Mick. They moved here. This person moved here. Roger moved here. Jim moved here. Ralph moved here. Mary moved here. And that's a circle. So I drew a circle around it. And that circle is basically the exact same circle that I had on my map, about 120 miles around Springfield. So one of the friends moved to southeastern Kansas. There's friends in northeastern Oklahoma. I'd heard about somebody that's planning on moving to northeast Oklahoma, which is really cool. It's an interesting story. I don't remember, but it sounded like a pretty solid deal that they're for sure doing it. So that's very cool. So let me see if there's any questions on here. Hi, Mary. How you doing? She says, I had a dream that I don't remember much of, but I was told to read Psalm 9 or 91. Read Psalm 91, yeah. You could read Psalm 9, that's not bad, but yeah, absolutely read Psalm 91. Don't just read it. I say get a plaque and put it by your door. Get one for your car and get one for right by your door, over your door, or right next to your door. I have mine right next to my door, but when my daughter came out from Swannanoa, from Arkansas, from Northwest Carolina, Western North Carolina, she came out from Swannanoa, which is one of the towns that just got almost obliterated. She came out while they're getting the water turned back on. And I had a plaque on my door, so I said, "You need this more than I do." So I got another one. I got another one coming, but I gave that to her until I put this over the door of your house, So yeah, Psalm 91, Mary, read that. Yeah, it's a protection psalm. And if you don't know the story, you can look it up. I think it was World War I. One of the regiments or outfits, whatever outfit, battalion, regiment, whatever, but every day they would recite that psalm in unison. Standing at parade, they'd recite that psalm out loud by heart. They all had it memorized. And they went through the three of the worst battles of the World War I, the Somme, and the Battle of the Somme, Marne. Three of the worst battles, and they didn't lose a single man. Not a single person was killed. So that's pretty impressive. Yeah, read that psalm. Why did they put a red door where we had a window before? Isn't it a trailer? That sounds like a trailer. I don't know, but that would make sense, yeah. So you can see it and then read it. There should be a little sticker on it that says emergency exit, yeah. And they pop out. That's where I put my air conditioner in the trailer I was living in for a while, the fifth wheel. Anyway, yeah. So read Psalm 91 for sure. 2025, Vision of the Ozark Refuge. What are you saying, Jim? I don't get that one. Did you have a dream? It's not 2025 yet, so what does that mean? Or are you asking some kind of idea there? So anyway, let me pull up this map again. I still haven't cleared my tablet. So, okay, I'm not falling asleep. I'm just thinking. Hi, yeah. So, okay. I'd read up to the end of where I had my book screenshot and then I lost it. So I'm not going to read any more on that. So back to the CPCD, Christian Patriot Civil, CPCDA, Christian Patriot Civil Defense Association. So this guy's name was Robert Harrell, Herrell. They call him John Harrell, yeah. Johnny Bob Harrell, Johnny Bob Harrell. And the town hated him. He was in just a very outside of Missouri in Illinois. But he was head of mortuary, and people didn't like him at all. The local people hate him. But he had a big operation going there, survivalist group. They did, militia training on this property and stuff. And he got involved with some kind of, supposedly got hit by the feds on a tax, tax evasion or something. So anyway, my point is that he's the one, I'm sure, that came up with this map, because I talked to him twice, and he said, "I'm very clear now that the central United States is now and will be one of the best places in the world to be." This is from my book, Where Should We Then Be Living? I read last week about the passage in Isaiah 4, verse 5 and 6, that Yahweh will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion and upon her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day and the shining of a flaming fire by night. For upon all the glory will be a defense, and there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for the place of refuge for a covert from storm and from rain. So I believe there's going to be a lot of areas of safety, and you combine that with the that vision, or not the vision, but the near-death experience of, what's her name? Sarah Linnell Monet, French word, named after her dad's favorite hooker, prostitute. But she saw that the United States there'd be earthquakes, 2 major plagues, epidemics, which we had a phony one, but we're going to have a real one soon. And major earthquake, a really bad earthquake and things like that, nuclear war, which people have seen that repeatedly. I'll give you one story. One time a lady called me. This is in 1999. We're Y2K, and we had very bang up business. We're doing stoves and lanterns and water filters and about 200 products by the end of the year. But we started with cylinder stoves out of Cedar City, Utah, and British Brookfield water filters, and then the Night Star flashlight. And phone rang one day, and I had a newsletter from newspaper from the Prophecy Club on my lap, sitting on my lap. Phone rang. A lady named Karen from Portland. She calls me and she goes, "Hey Jerry, how you doing? What's up?" And she goes, she says, "Do you think Portland's going to get nuked?" And I said, "Hold on, I got the map right on my lap here." So I opened it up, and the center was this 2-page whole continental United States map. I said, yep, it's going to get nuked. Why? Portland is going to be nuked along with, Las Vegas, New York, Washington, etc. But Portland is going to get nuked, yes, for sure, because it's one of the prophets. Read Amos 3:7 again. But surely Yahweh will do nothing unless he reveals it first to his prophets. So, she says, well, I said, why do you ask? She says, every night I wake up and I have this dream, this nightmare of I'm standing at the picture window with holding my baby in my arms, in front of my chest, and I see a nuclear blast go off in the distance, and I wake up right as it hits the window and shatters the window, and my baby saves my life. My baby died, but it protects my heart, my chest. But I'm covered with glass, but it kills my baby. I said, well, just move. She goes, we can't. We don't want to, because my husband has a good job here and we have a nice house. I'm like, oh, geez, you think God's going to tell you something, lady? He tells you to move, kid in Texas, 19-year-old kid in Texas, I got to get out of here. Texas is going to be underwater. Texas is going to be underwater. Every night I dream about Texas being underwater. So, yeah, if you have dreams like that, leave. A lady on the East Coast was having dreams about having to run up a hill to get away from the tsunami coming in from whatever it was, collapsing. The Virgin Islands, no, the St. Edward Islands I talked about the other day, on the eastern side of the Atlantic Ocean. But if that collapses and there's a 35,000 foot trench below it and the whole island, volcanic island, collapses into the ocean, it's going to send a hell of a tidal wave. We're going to take out the whole East Coast. So Florida's about 8 foot high. The highest point. Florida's not very high, very flat. So, okay. So, point is that, there's going to be safe areas to go to, I believe. Just makes sense. And, there may be a lot of them. And like I said, in the book, There Is No Death, chapter 4, you can hear me read it, listen to me read it. She says that she saw points of light around the country, and she already called them cities of light, but every bunch of people were praying. And she said they had several things in common. They knew something bad was going to happen. They had leadership. They prepared ahead of time. They had food, and they were willing to share that food. So, and then when the zombie horde from the cities went around, they just went around them. They did not attack them at all. She said because they had protection and the Lord was with them, is what she, quote unquote, is what she said. So that's interesting. So having food and being willing to share that food and help people is important. If you're going to shoot somebody before you want to offer them food, if that's your mindset, I don't think you're going to make it. I really don't. I think that's going to end a lot of people's lives, spiritually in eternity, if not in this world. If you're going to kill somebody for food, you got a really bad mindset. It's certainly not a biblical mindset. It's not a gospel mindset. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And, greater love has no man than this, that he lays down his life for a friend. Okay, so maybe they're not your friend, maybe they're coming at you. But my point is this, that a lot of those people coming to you, they're going to be sent there to help you stay alive. But if you shoot them, you just basically put the gun to your own head. You killed yourself. So that guy and they have the zombie, you get zombie targets, right? One of them is a white medical coat on, a stethoscope around his neck, but his sleeve's torn and bloody. And, he looks distraught, who wouldn't be with bloody arm. And, and you're going to shoot that target. So people are being trained to kill people in medical garb, that might be sent to help them, to keep them alive. Patch up your leg after you cut your thigh to the chainsaw, with the chainsaw to the bone, almost. A neighbor of mine did that, and he treated himself with subcutaneous bandages and everything, but not many people can do that. All right, anyway, so this man told me on the phone the area that we need to move to is Scottsbluff, Nebraska, to Lubbock, Texas, to Atlanta, Georgia, to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And how large that area would be, that would be the area to gather to, because we need to grow food. How big the safe area would end up being would depend on how many good people gather there before the breakdown. Okay, well, take away the Southeast from, high population of bad people there. southwest because of the incursion of from the south, and southeast from the incursion of other people from the south. Northeast, this guy didn't see this in Civil War II, Tom Chittum. He didn't see the Muslims coming in there and taking over, Wisconsin, Saudi, Mini Somalia, and Michigan, Iran, Michigan, Iran, Minnesota, Mini Somalia, and Wisconsin, Saudi. You didn't see that with their pallet loads of cat, the drug, for go berserkers. All right, so anyway, the Northwest just from cold and, barren territory and everything else, floods and whatnot. So I think it's going to come down to a circular area that is protected by borders, by rivers that are borders, where rivers are borders. There's very few states in this country that are not, where one of the borders is not a river or an ocean, but water is a barrier. It's a border. So I tried to beat that in everybody's head. When I wrote, "The red door was in my dream." Oh, okay. Well, keep your eye out for that one. Hallelujah. So Scottsbluff, Nebraska, Lubbock, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So Civil War II, Tom Chittum did not foresee a problem with, Islam's coming in and taking over our northeastern states. But, it's happening. It's happening to a large degree. And so basically that region, Scottsbluff, when I was in the library one time in Holton, Kansas, there's a big, huge dictionary there with a map of the continental United States. So I put my thumb and middle finger, because I was how far as I could. I put my thumb on the Lubbock and Atlanta, and then I'd stretch the other two out. And I could barely get them on Scottsbluff and Pittsburgh. Boom, boom, 4, and right dead center in the middle was Springfield, Missouri. So, yeah. So again, there was just another weird confirmation, just a coincidence. Air quote, just a coincidence. Nothing to see here. Move along. No, it wasn't a coincidence. Nothing in my life has been coincidence. I tell you that. So it's all for a reason, I believe. I believe it's continuing to be for a reason. Dog barking outside. Why is that dog barking? All right. So anyway, how safe that safe area would end up. This guy told me on the phone. How large that safe area ends up being will depend on how many good people gather there before the breakdown. Also, you look at George Washington's vision at Valley Forge. He foresees a last days invasion of America by many nations from both coasts and both borders. That's why you get away from the coast, get away from the borders, get away from the coast, get away from the borders, get out of the cities. They're going to take over the cities. They're going to be control the cities. They're basically forcing everybody to move into the cities. But he clearly states that those who survive will be driven to the center of the country. And so George Washington says, "I saw the inhabitants of the land, quote unquote, driven, air quote, driven inland to the center of the country into a wedge-shaped pattern, quote unquote." Okay, wedge-shaped pattern. Well, if you look at the Ozark Plateau, the physical, geographical outlines of it on Google Earth one time, I put points on the 4 corners, like St. Louis is basically at one corner, Kansas City's at a corner, Tulsa's at a corner, and outside the corner, and the corner nonetheless, and then Little Rock, Arkansas, one corner. So you put dots on those, and and with the green, with the deeper coloring, I took a quick angle for a construction tool, and I measured both of them, 120 degree angle, both of them. So you have a diamond shape. A diamond is that's a diamond. Imagine that. Okay, coming down. You have 60 degree angle, 60 degree angle, 120 degree angle, 120 degree angles. You have two 60 degree equilateral triangles meeting together in the middle. So you draw a line through that. It goes to Turtle Mountain in Minnesota and Canada. Very weird. So there's some weird things there. There's questions I have in my mind that maybe someday I'll get answers to, but one of them is why, if you put a dot on Little Rock and through Kansas City, basically the through the Ozark Plateau, does it go to Turtle Mountain? Is there any significance in that? Because Turtle Mountain, I believe, was a safe haven, a safe refuge place that was built. It was artificially built plateau, 1,500 feet off of the plains. Still exists to this day. It hasn't worn down. It's still a very lush, abundant place. There's one in the center of Africa. There's one in the center of China, Asia. There's one in the center of Australia. And blonde hair people at each one of those places. Anyway, just kind of rambling there, but the point is that there is a safe region, and I'm going to quit here because my voice is going, so that's my signal to start quitting. I didn't put any shoes on. I was stupid. Oh, as warm as it could be. All right, so anyway. And one of the things, George Washington's vision, he sees the inhabitants driven into a wedge-shaped area. Now, I want to point out this: if he was with an angel, because he saw the inhabitants driven inland, so he was from an aerial view, right? If he was in an aerial view of the Ozark Plateau, he says very specifically that the inhabitants of the land were driven inland into a wedge-shaped area. Okay, you look up any country, any continent, any century. And the country's invaded, you got inhabitants have one place to go, and that's to the interior of the land. They want to go away from the borders, away from the invasion point. Well, if the southern border is invaded, and the northern border is invaded, and the coasts are both invaded, which George Washington says very specifically, that's what happened. And whether that was a Masonic prediction, I don't know, because Washington was, Freemason. But whether it was, he says it was an angel that came to see it, take him, and he showed him all that. But if he's up in the aerial view of the United States and saw the Ozark Plateau either from the north, from the south, from the east, or from the west, he would see a wedge-shaped pattern, people packed in there like sardines. And that's what I believe is going to happen. I don't think that was a coincidence. Nothing. This is not a nothing to see here and move along. No coincidence. God has showed us things that are going to happen ahead of time. And I think we'd be very wise to take heed and do something about it. So that's my call for 20 years now. So. All right. $9.1. I don't know. 91.1. Yeah. He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Well, you read Psalm 91 too. Whatever, read the whole Bible. Okay. And the red doors. I got the red doors in your dream. Okay. So anybody else going on out there? That's about it. Oh, no. I hate that. Don't do anything stupid. Sorry. All right. So I think that's about it. I'm about tired anyway. And we're at 42 minutes. That's about right. 45 minutes is long enough for me. That's about how long my voice can last and my brain can last. Yeah. So I'm going to try to do the other video tomorrow. I'm not going to do it tonight for sure, with maps on the tablet here, so you can see better copies of those. I think I probably had them up last week. Watch the two videos from last week, the live streaming and the other one. I uploaded both of them. They are up. So, and you can get that. I think the maps, I'm pretty sure I put the maps on there. I'm still just blown away by the whole Helene thing. It's just amazingly, just very bizarre. A lot of people there are doing videos and interviews on a regular basis. Whoops. No. I want to go to view. So, which one's live stream? Yeah. I can't scroll through it with seeing everything. That's weird. Which one's which? That's not it. It's supposed to be it. Huh. I had it on screen share. It's not showing that. I don't remember. Okay, maybe not. Okay, the first one. The one that is one of two, 2850 is the tablet one with the screen share. And then the one that is 43 minutes is the live stream. So I know I got the maps on there, yeah. All right, that's it. Good night. God bless everybody. And we'll read the Bible here. And if anyone does not have a Bible, get one. They give them away. The Gideons give them away. Then that may not be the King James anymore, but you can get them. Okay, so Psalm 9 verse 1 says, I will praise thee, O Yahweh, with my whole heart. I will show forth all thy marvelous works. I would kind of be thinking that it was an indicator to read Psalm 91, and I'll read that now. Like I said, I'm memorizing it. Everybody should memorize it too. I'm just talking about, I kind of be able to halfway recite it, but memorize it. Write it with your hand. Handwrite it out, and that'll help you to do that. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of Yahuwah, He is my refuge and my fortress, my Elohim. In Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, night and day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness night, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday bright light. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because He hath set His love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. So memorize that psalm. And like I said, get a plaque and put it up on the door. Or get one, keep it in your wallet or in your purse or something, and read it once a day. I highly recommend that. But what I'm doing is every day I read 5 Psalms and 1 Proverb. So every month you go through the book of Psalms and the book of Proverbs, both. Some nights you have to read double 2 Proverbs, because at the end, you have a 30-day month. You got to read Psalm 31 or Proverbs 31, because that's about excellent wife, virtuous woman. So anyway, yeah, really recommend that. So. Another sip. All right. Trying to go back and read everything. Well, good night, everybody, if you're still out there. Jim, Mary, Carl. And blessings to everybody. Just pray for everybody, It's time to seek really be serious about praying and getting right with your Creator. I watched a good video of this lady. You can look for it. She's from Appalachia. It's an Appalachia Homestead or something like that. Shields up. Get your shields up. So the title of the video was, "We need to get our shields up." She was told by an uncle, or like basically her father in the faith, whatever you want to call it. Time to get your shields up. Take care of yourself. Stay in good health and have your shield up. So prayer, breastplate of righteousness, helmet of salvation. Get your shield up. Shield of faith. Make sure you got the shield attached to your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul. Okay, so good night. I love you. Looking forward to seeing my daughter here this week, coming out from Western North Carolina, Swannanoa. It just weighs on my heart so much, I didn't find out about it for several days. A friend of mine told me about it. I was like blown away, man. I'll tell you what. Been watching a lot of 100 videos, 100, 200, 300 videos. But I'm making a playlist. But just want to be aware, we have a lot of more heavy things coming at us. Have faith, trust in providence. I believe that's what's going on. And let me say this too. I was going to say this earlier. One time I was sitting at the table at the computer down at the house, and I was grousing about, all these people are going to die. So many millions of people are going to die. And my granddaughter was there, my oldest grandchild. And she said, "Grandpa, you beat yourself up too much over this." He said, "Jesus said when the Tower of Siloam fell, it fell on the just and the unjust. We know judgment's coming, Grandpa. We can't change that." She said, "But yes, bad people are going to die, but good people are going to die too. They were good people, Grandpa. They were just dumb people. So don't be a dumb people. Don't be on the borders. Don't be in the cities, and don't be at any of the seacoasts. Don't be outside that triangle area, from Minnesota down to Florida, out to Texas. Don't be outside that triangle. So at least get that far. From there you can walk here to the Ozarks. Anywhere in the country you can walk. But I believe a lot of people are going to be walking. So all right, drive now or walk later. DNOWL. Drive now or walk later, guys. Okay. God bless. Love you all. Bye bye, family. Bye bye.